If the love in the future I'm going to experience doesn't have the feeling part that you just described, then I don't think I actually want it.
If they've moved on and they're not as miserable as me right now, then they've won.
That's why it's called love and pain. It's because those are the two things that are hard to control.
How quick do you think it's too quick to be intimate with a woman?
Yeah, maybe an obsession is just the inability to control your
Yeah,
actions based on your
right.
feelings. In some sense, we're all sitting in the
Mhm.
wheelchairs of our past broken love arrangements. People are broken in all sorts of ways, and you get them together and they're not always well equipped to build each other up.
I think that's why a lot of people who are abused in relationships stay with the person because of those intense feelings of love. If you ever do have a threesome, don't have it with two people you love at once. Live from a pre-recorded broadcast, it's the Socially Awkwards podcast. I am your favorite TV dinner, and he is the world's #1 choice for breakfast. And we are the Socially Awkwards. Today, we are talking about a serious subject, love and pain, which some would say are the same. Mr. Breakfast, tell us your thoughts on love, pain, and everything in between. Just the short thoughts.
Well, I don't think they're the same. Okay, I don't. Well, first off, I have to touch on the breakfast thing. Is that a reference to Bran?
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I
Okay.
think it's really just random
Oh,
because I'm a TV dinner, and what's that a reference to? A macro wave? I don't know.
um, I used to call the Salisbury steaks a mattress of meat, and that's kind of
A
that's how you fit your
mattress
name in
of
there.
meat.
I
Okay.
think that
I'd love
yeah,
to sleep
I
on
think
that bed.
that's
Okay, go ahead.
very springy, spongy, and most importantly, lots of umami.
Mm, savory.
Yeah, love and pain is well, I wouldn't go so far as to say they're the
I
same
said
thing.
some people might say they're
Um,
same. Mainly people that would have, because I have felt that. So I'm going to get
when
into
people
that more,
say
but
but when people say some people, aren't they referring
to themselves.
aren't they isn't that a way of like shoehorning like this is my opinion, but who
It's a
knows,
total
maybe other
gaslight,
people
is
have
what
it
it
too.
is. Yeah.
I see. So I've been gaslit and that's fine because here at Socially Awkwards we try not to what's it called when you butt heads and you cause an argument?
Uh,
We try not to
yeah,
confrontate.
we don't like to, yeah, have conflicted situations.
So I think that love and pain is the spice. I think it's the salt and pepper of life, and a lot of people avoid it because one can cause the other, and one causes a lot of the other. People say that love can cause pain, but how many people say that pain can cause love? And I don't. Now that I hear myself say that, I don't think it makes any
Pain can
sense.
cause
But
love. Maybe. I mean, there are
so
people in abuse, not in that wouldn't really be in that sense, but there are people in abusive relationships that, I mean, they wouldn't be pain causing love. They're really there because that would be more like love causing pain, and they love so much, and that's why they're staying, and they think that, that abuse is actually love. There's a
yeah,
Russian. Did you know that there's a Russian adage, an old Russian saying, and it says, it translates to English to, I don't know if it's exact. I'm not gonna, like, it's gonna be a paraphrase, but it's, if if he beats you, it means he loves you. And that was to, like, kind of normalize, abuse and, like, domestic abuse in Russia. So it's kind of interesting
mm.
that, that's the way they would go about it.
We beat the ones we
Yeah.
love,
So
and
I really love
what's
my
funny is
penis.
this. This tells you, just bloodied and mashed up.
All right. So, yeah. So, before we get into this, and because we're going to talk about, like, a lot of different things between love and pain, because there's a lot of different emotions that come out of love, all kinds of sorts of things that can happen. But I want to know, like, how many times, if any, because some people might say they've not fell in love, but how many times have you fell in love? Do you feel like? Because that could be, love could be it's a subjective term, right? It could be, different people could say different things about, when love actually occurs.
Yeah. For me, at a minimum, it's 3
That's
times.
crazy. At a minimum, it's 3 times. I wonder if it was the same 3 women that we loved. Maybe that was the problem. That was the conflict.
Yeah, they were yeah, they were
Yeah.
taken.
All right. Well, let's talk about defining love. And we're going to talk about it in a couple of different ways. We're going to talk about like us personally. Let's each reveal how we define it, and then we're going to kind of talk about how society defines it, and we'll kind of go from there. And people can make their own judgments because, like I said, it's a very subjective term, and I think that that people are definitely have multiple or different meanings of what it means. For me, I don't wanna sound like, because I feel like I'm gonna sound like some kind of, like, weird, like, love guru, because I'm not. I'm clearly 100% not that. Love is like, an overwhelming feeling of, like, euphoria that surrounds your soul with comfort, trust, and stability. That's kinda how I feel. That sounds so, like I'm holding a like I'm hosting a seminar. It can be the most powerful and reactive emotion. And that you ever experience. And I think for me, it gives me a feeling of like being wanted. It gives me a feeling of being needed. And like it's literally a reason to live for me. I think that the most important emotion in a human being's life is love. Like, I think that's what drives a lot of people to even like live, right? Like, it's just love is the ultimate goal, even if you're talking about Christianity or religion or anything like that. Um, it can
Yeah.
control your actions, which are both good and bad, obviously. And I think that people in general who spend their lives alone have had bad luck with love. And I think they generally have a negative outlook on love. I am personally biased in this manner. I've joked before that I hate love, that's because I'm, along with that statement, are an oxymoron. And I think that me personally, it's overwhelmingly the biggest battle that I have faced in my lifetime. And that includes finding love, experiencing love, and the fall out of love. Like, all of it is just a lot. But that's kind of how I would describe it in my own terms, as something that is very powerful, something that gives you almost it's like a drug, right? Because it's like a high that you can't achieve unless you feel it. Um, so what do you think? Like, what is your definition of like how you personally define love?
I Yeah, if I'm being truthful, I think my definition is very close to yours, and I think there is something about it that is sort of a selfish definition because I do recognize that a lot of what I think of as love is wrapped up in how I feel,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really have as much to do about um how somebody else necessarily feels. And because I think that because I've heard two different, I mean, there's two different theories or ideas about love, generally speaking, and where there's the love as a feeling camp, and then there's like love is really just love is an action. And I guess as I've gotten older, I think that the love as an action makes a lot more sense to me because because say if you're caring for somebody in your house and you tell them you love them, but you don't do anything for them, how is that different for somebody where you've never told them you love them, but you do everything for them. You help them out. Or somebody, let's just say it's a scenario where you're caring for somebody. And so you're like, I'm gonna go and um, say like I don't know, like your mom is sick and you're doing all these actions to care for them. And I think that expresses a lot of love more than if you were to not do any of those things and just say, Hey, I love you and I feel really fuzzy inside. So it's I guess ideally, it would be a mixture of
Yeah.
both. Like, if the love in the future I'm gonna experience doesn't have the feeling part that you just described, then I don't think I actually want it, and I don't know what to do about that, besides just be authentic and say that I want that, and that's what I want in the future. But I also recognize there does seem to be this action component that I feel like is required, and,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, so it's a mixture of those 2
You have
things.
to first of all, do you have you ever like figured out a love language? Have you ever had a girlfriend who was like, "Oh, let's figure out what your love language is," and you take a little quiz or something like that, and you figure like, so do you know like if it's,
I know
go ahead.
we haven't done the quizzes, but I know enough about the love languages and the idea of that to know that for me, it's not gifts. it's usually it's usually touch and probably, like, words of
Yeah.
affirmation.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a combination of those
We
2
are a lot
things.
alike. We were probably dating like this. We weren't dating the same girls, but we might have been dating the same type of girls. I don't know. Really, we don't.
Yeah,
I don't know
there's
what
a
your
type.
type is though
Yeah.
either. So, and that's not one of the things we're going to discuss here today. Maybe we'll have a whole episode where it's just like Brandon tells us his type, and it'll be fun. All right. So society obviously, like if you're watching television or something, or if you're watching a movie and everything's got like they usually give you a happy ending, right? And not like the one you're gonna get in an Asian massage parlor, like that's a different kind of love, right? So, um, but so that's kind of unfair to people growing up thinking that that's what it is, and nobody teaches you about love in that way and like romantic love. I don't really feel like anybody teaches you. It's like you grow up, you're like a teenager, you start getting feelings for somebody, you date somebody, you get dumped, and then that's when I feel like people start talking to you and they're like, "Well, this happens," and it's gonna be like when you're a teenager, it's always the most dramatic thing, right? Like, well, for most people, not for everybody, but like it's like the worst thing that's like ever happened in your life. It'd be like people that would go online and they'd be like FML, just because they got broken up with or something like that. Um, but early on, television and movies, I mean, if you're growing up, that's what they're telling you. They're like, "Oh, everything's gonna end up in a." It's not like that. I think love is different for every person, so it doesn't really matter how society portrays it. They do it in a multitude of ways with some of the same old tropes. I mean, they have people that like will stop their girlfriend or boyfriend from like leaving a plane, right? And they're confessing their love, or it's like that old trope, and it's like that just how many times has that happened in real life? Maybe it's happened once or twice, but that's a story of the
Yeah.
ages for just, some lucky people to have. And who knows if they even lasted. But
Yeah, well, just to touch on that real quick, there's also something that about, like, somebody's leaving on an airplane, you go run, you
yeah.
stop them. Um, but going even further, there's lots of displays of what love looks like that are like that in movies that in real life is actually usually quite the opposite of what you wanna do, and behavior that is really quite it's creepy. I'm thinking of, like, the classic scene of, like, um, John what's his name?
Yeah.
Cusack? Am I saying the name
Yeah.
right? So, is there's a scene where he's outside the window with a boombox in his hand?
Oh, yeah. I know, yeah. I mean, that's a trope
Yeah.
that's been on
So
forever. I just can't think of the movie.
So that kind of thing where like you have this push pull kind of relationship and you're not sure if she likes you or maybe you feel like you're losing her. And so you do this last ditch effort where you show up at their doorstep or outside their
Right.
window and as like a huge display, like 9 times out of 10 that's going to look extremely creepy and it's not going to go
Yeah.
over well. Um if you're going to do something like that, you have to be almost sure that that it's like for that to work, you have to be the one that pulled away from the relationship and then had this sort of moment where you realize you love them, and then so you do some huge display like
Right,
that. But,
right.
like, you have to know that they already like you that much but I think it gets twisted too much where people are like, "Oh, man, I feel like I'm losing her affection. So what I'm gonna do is this, like, really grand display in front of everybody, or, I'm gonna throw a little pebble at her window in the middle of the night, and she's gonna realize that I'm like that she's gonna realize that she loves me just out of sheer, like, what's the word? Like, realization of how much I love her, right? So
Yeah,
it's
like,
like
my love is
and that's not how
so
love
like,
works.
yeah, it's weird how that's kind of a thing, like a trope, like, "My love is so strong that it's gonna make you love me back," or something, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, and in my experience, you never ever not once have I made someone love me more because I express so much of my own love that it convinced them to love me
Right.
more. Like, that's never once has it worked out for me, and anytime I've gotten close to expressing anything like that, it's worked out for quite the opposite. So,
Well,
that's my thoughts on that and my
there's also
advice.
this trope where, like, if a girl says, like, "Just leave," and then, like, the trope is that you're actually supposed to fight for 'em, but they're telling you to, like, that it's over. And it's like, I always never understood that. It's like, well, if that's really a thing, like with some women, then that's a cruel game to play, I feel like. Like, it's super cruel. It's like, why are
Yeah.
you doing that? Like, so, like, do you think that that's
You don't
actually
want that,
do you think that women, because I guess I have seen, okay, let's talk a few about tropes. We're gonna go off on the deep end a little bit here, but first of all, let's talk about this one specifically. Do you think that that exists out in the real world, or that's just more of like a fictional trope that women really do
I
want you
I
to do
think
that?
I think it does exist that there are women who, play that type of
Yeah,
game where they wanna feel what it feels like to be chased that hard, to have the validation that somebody is willing to fight for them that much, and for them, it feels good, and probably because they're missing something in their own life, something about their upbringing made them that way, and then, and gave them a hole or an ego hit to their psyche that caused them to need that kind of validation.
yeah,
But I think that, as the so we're just talking about like the classic situation of it's the female doing that and it's the guy who's chasing. So in that scenario, for that guy, like I would say it's like never worth it because even if it works out, it still, in my opinion, did not work out because now you are now you're fighting to be with somebody who just got validated that that's a good way to get you to express your love. Like that's a good way for them is to pull away whenever they feel like they need that dopamine hit or that ego boost. They're going to pull away so that way they can have you fight for them. And if you don't fight for them, it just means that you're not a man or that you don't or you never loved them that much in the first place. And so yeah, if you see those kind of behaviors, my my advice would be to, let them. If they wanna pull away, let them pull away, and they can close the gap if that's what they want because it really takes 2.
yeah. I agree with you, and I think that first of all, we are going to do an episode in a few weeks that maybe people will love, maybe people will hate, but it's going to be an episode called "Things That Women Don't Know About Men." From yours truly, which we're certainly the number one experts in that for everybody to take information from. So that'll be a fun episode. Then we'll do an episode later on that'll be a play off that, but we don't want to give too much of that one away. But that one will be fun as well. But yeah, the tropes are. I had a girl that went to work for me at the Philadelphia steak shop, and she was with somebody else. We didn't even look at each other as like in that way. It was just like a friendly thing. And and then like a few years later, we almost got together and then we didn't, like something happened. And then so and then I hooked up with a friend of hers. And that friend was the one that told me, she's like, "Did you know that when she first started there, she said that she told all of us, all of her friends, that you were off limits." And I was like, "Why do you guys play those? Like, what is that?" Like, and I've heard this before. I don't know if you've ever heard this, where they kind of like they put their friends in their place. And even though they don't want that person or they have no intent in having a relationship, like they all of a sudden are saying, "Hey, no, you can't date him either, though." And that was always weird to me. Have you ever come across that or heard about that? Or
I've I've heard about it. I haven't come across that
yeah.
personally, or if I have, I haven't been
I
told
think it
that.
happens a lot more
So
than
you
we
got
think,
lucky
and
enough to
it's
be
yeah, we're
told.
just not told. Like, I think I was just lucky because I ended up with one of her friends, and she was like, "Oh, yeah," you know? Like, that's what she told us, and I was like, "Oh."
So she was told so let me see. There was a girl that you almost got with, but you
Yeah,
didn't.
so the first that was a
And then
couple of
it
years after. I think that's what solidified to the fact to where after we didn't like, we tried to get together and it didn't work, that's when her girlfriends could now approach me, and now it would be okay. Even though in the beginning, there was
I
no
see.
intent of any of that, this was like a couple of years after we had known each other.
Yeah.
So it is really weird, and I know we're getting harsh and kinda getting down on women right now in the relationship part. I wanna let people know out there, to all the women that will listen, if there's any out there that listen to us, or watch us, men do plenty of fucking bad things too, so don't think we don't notice that. We know that we're a bunch of weirdo douchebags sometimes too, so, um, we play games too, but I do think that there are just certain games where I'm just kinda like, "That's so weird that women do that." But yeah, those are just a few of the
Well, that would be
tropes. Go ahead.
interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting to talk, or maybe really quickly we can interject that as a topic about like what you think the most common games that a guy plays is. Like, have you ever played games yourself or
Yeah,
anything that somebody might
yeah,
consider a game?
yeah. Well, I mean, and this is actually going to be part of what I'm going to discuss later. Um, but I tend to actually, it's going to be literally the next thing. So let me get into a little bit of this, and then I'll tell you what this means. But um, but I will say really quick about how society portrays love. Like the people like to see everything like where they're confessing their love and everybody's happy, and then the girl or the guy realizes that they do love them, and they love that kind of scenario, um and they think that like I think that's where all the hope comes in. Like people are hopeful that that's going to kind of happen in their real life, but I just want people to know that hope along with love, to me, they're really volatile emotions. They're very up and down, and they can really, so society portrays it in a way that I don't think is at all realistic for the most part. And people have to find it on their own, I think, is really what it is. And you don't really know until you know, right? You don't know until you see it, Brandon. And then you'll know what love is. That goes for everything. Wow, that saying of yours really, really works for everything. Um,
It really fits,
but
yeah.
yeah, so here's a kind of a game. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that I tend to fall in love easy. I really don't know if there's like a word for it for what I'm about to explain. If there's like maybe we could get like a scientist on sometime, or maybe somebody that could explain this. But I feel like I fall for women super easy, which it makes it really harder for me to deal with the whole construct of things. And for me, it's like I have fell for a lot of women in my life that did not feel the same way, but they were still in my life for a while, like whether it was somebody I worked with or maybe it was a friend or whatever it was. And so then it became really difficult. Becomes really difficult for the person who has feelings around the person who doesn't have feelings for you. And then you start experiencing, we'll discuss it later, but then you start experiencing things like jealousy and all this other stuff, which you really, I mean, that's just a byproduct of love, and you don't like that kind of thing. So, so I will say that, and this could be kind of like a game that a guy would play. When I was working at a pizza place, I really liked this girl. Um, but she was like, I don't know, she was kind of like another trope is friend zoning, like when women put you in the friend zone. So she was kind of friend zoning me, even though she was kind of flirty, but she was kind of friend zoning me. Well, finally one day I told her, I was like, well, I feel so much for you that I can't be your friend because my emotions are going to be too much for me to hang out, like hang out with you if you don't feel the same way. And so I basically told her that I was like, so we're not going to really be able to be friends anymore, which wasn't really a lie, but I did work with her. So no matter what, I was going to have to deal with it anyways. Maybe she didn't think of it that far. But then like after that, we ended up kissing, and then we dated for like 9 months, and then it ended pretty badly anyway, so it wasn't really like the best thing anyways. But in a way, is that a game? I mean, kind of. I mean, I did tell my friend about it. I was like, "This is what I'm gonna tell her, and it's either gonna be really bad for me,
Yeah.
or maybe she'll be like, 'Oh, well, if he can't be friends with me from these emotions, maybe I should test my emotions.'" And that was really my bad. I mean, if anybody paid for that, it was me, because in the end, it was me loving her. And it came down to the fact where she's like, well, I don't really love you. And that's how, that's what, kind of broke it off. So, but
Yeah.
the sex was good. So if that's for worth anything, I don't know. That's worth a little bit sometimes. So is that a game? Like, is that a game that
Sure.
I played with a woman? I don't know.
I don't think so. If this was the
It
truth,
was
it
the
wasn't a
truth,
game.
but there was a part of me that felt bad about it. Like, because I've always,
Yeah,
I
well,
can stick around. I mean, it's not like I can't be friends with them. It's going to be really hard for me, but I hide that from people. I'm not going to be like, and there's been plenty where I've never told them about my emotions, and I've just had to be around them. And it's like, what are you going to say? Like, oh, sorry.
did she know how much you liked her before you said that?
Probably, I was probably flirting with her. I mean, like, I don't know if she knew like how much. I mean, I didn't even know how much I liked her. I mean, I didn't obviously love her until like months into a relationship, but I don't know.
So so the thing that makes it not here's what I think about it. I think that on the surface, you could say there's some truth to it. It was a true statement. But I think that what you were actually saying
I was giving
is
her an
you were
ultimatum,
just finding
basically.
a but I think you were also finding a clever way of just communicating that you liked her.
Yeah,
Like you actually liked her that much.
yeah.
And
Do you
because that
work for
statement, like,
BetterHelp?
I don't know if we can be friends.
You're doing a pretty good job with
I'm
this.
in the
Yeah.
process of
Okay.
accreditation. But yeah, I feel like that's really the subtext of it is like, because it's sometimes it's hard to be like, hey, I like you enough to like want to like date you, but it's like it's a
Well,
nice.
she
I think
did
it's kind
must
of a
have
cooler way to
known.
say like
I
I
mean, she
don't.
did know because obviously I was kind of kept asking her, and she was the
Well,
one that was kind of pushing back a little bit. But
okay.
there
Well, you
was
mean kept
something
asking
there.
her what? You kept
It was
asking her
like a
on a
50.
date.
Sorry, I was just gonna say there was something like a 50-50 with her. But go ahead. What were you gonna say? Like, so she was kind
Yeah.
of on the line where I was like,
You,
no, I want to have a relationship. But go ahead.
well, you said you kept asking her, and I was just wondering what that meant. Was it that you were
To like,
asking
well,
her
I
out
don't know
on
what it is
dates?
it now. Like, do people even know anymore? It wasn't really a date. It was like, are we gonna like, like I mean, not like a specific date, but like date in general, right? And so like I had kissed
Yeah.
her that night, and I left, and it was like I had visited her and told her that, and then somehow we got to the point where she let me kiss her, and then I went home and I was playing video games with my friend in my room, and she shows up at 11:30 at night and comes into my room. We start making out, and my friend's like, I guess I'm going home. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like that kiss like got her attention. But obviously, like I said, and I don't really think I'm a good kisser or anything, so I don't know what it was. Maybe I went. But whatever it was, it got her attention enough to date me, but then obviously she still didn't have strong enough feelings in the end. So like I said, the joke is still kind of on me at the end because I was the one ended up being heartbroken at the end and she moved on. And now she's married and got kids. So it's like, you know, that's kind of how I always look at it. It's like if they've moved on and they're not as miserable as me right now, then they've won. You know what I'm saying? So, but
I get what you're saying, yeah.
um
Well, it's a gray area
yeah.
then on
Yeah, it's
that.
like my beard. It's definitely a gray area. So yeah, so it becomes difficult for me to be around these women. I get feelings for them, and it's like the shittiest thing because all these feelings that I like am igniting, and I can't do a damn thing about it, and I can't control who I'm going to be attracted to. That's the worst part about it, right? What other? There's not too many other emotions that you really can't control, are there? Like anger can get out of control, but every other emotion for the most part, you can kind of say, okay, you know, you can't really, sadness, people might say, with people with depression, which I would totally understand. Happiness, like it just kind of comes, you're not really controlling it. But love is
Yeah.
weird in that way, I think. What do you think?
Maybe that's the relationship. That's why it's called love and pain. It's because those are the 2 things that are
It
hard to
is. It
control.
is. It's a struggle. And
Yeah.
I can't control who I'm going to be attracted to, which itself should like have a whole class of science behind it. Like, like the fact that we can't control ourselves in that moment, and because then we can start talking about what love can lead to, and then it can lead to some dangerous things. A lot of people have died for love, or they'd say love, um, and you can to an
Romeo and Juliet,
yeah.
yeah.
You can, like I said, to an extent, you can control anger and control sadness. Maybe fear would be a little harder to control. So it becomes interesting when you have to deal with having feelings with someone that you see every day. And because of that, and because my heart latches on so quickly to women, and this has always happened like mainly my whole life, Brandon, ever since I've started like having feelings or whatever. And it's a irritating thing. It's so irritating when you can just have one conversation with a woman and then go home and then your brain or your brain's like, man, you should date her. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? It's like, I wasn't even thinking that. But now, like, and you can't control that shit. And I like, especially, a lot of my girlfriends came out of my work environment. I either worked with them or because I worked in a mall for like 13 years or something like that, I either worked with them directly or they worked in that mall and I saw them. And that's how a lot of my girlfriends happen because if I'm just around them, I'll just start like apparently my I don't know if it's like it's almost like a biological clock, right? For like me, it's like, oh, I want them all. But it's been happening since I've been in like my early 20s. Um,
So what you're saying is women are like Pokemon
yeah,
to
I
you?
want everyone, I want every one of them. Uh,
Yeah. You gotta catch 'em
yeah,
all.
well, I mean, it's just nowadays it's hard too because nowadays I just want to avoid. If I were like If I were to hang out with a girl and I started to have feelings for him, nowadays I'd probably just want to avoid him because I don't want that heartbreak. I know it's not going to work, even if they do like me, because now I have my own issues that I got to deal with. Because I know that no matter what, with as much as I talk about love today and how much I miss it and how much I want it and how much it would be great for the future, I know that personally with myself, with the way I feel about myself, that's none of this is gonna happen unless I change that thought process, and that's a big thing with me, and that's, and so I'll avoid people, and I don't wanna deal with any more love and pain. But how easy is it for you to love someone?
I would say
Is
it's
it?
easy.
Have you found yourself in that
As long
position where you've had to be around this person and you have feelings and they don't, and it gets harder and difficult and
well, it's it's easy if as long as well, I have to get past a couple
okay,
gates
okay.
first, right? Is I have to be attracted to
Tell us your
someone,
process.
and then sure, I have to be attracted to someone, and they have to be attracted to
Mhm.
me, and
That's a good
then
start.
yeah. Well, I mean, for some
Well
people, that isn't
well, I was
even
gonna say though, because
those aren't
I'm
even
just
hard conditions.
describing the kind of the difference there is where I'm saying they don't have to be attracted to me yet. I'm just falling for them. So do you not fall for somebody unless you know they have some type of attraction to you? Like you can control that?
No, it's not that it's yeah, I control that because I don't wanna be in that uncomfortable state
Yeah.
where I'm liking somebody that much without even knowing without even anything having happened yet. And it's it's not that it's not possible for it to happen to me, it's that it is possible, and so I have to stop it. And so I have to really stop myself from thinking about it. And if I'm around that person so much that that is gonna be where I end up inevitably, then I try to make my intentions known as early as possible, so that way I can find a definitive answer before I slip down into territory where I'm, like, ruminating over this person and we haven't even done it we haven't, like, expressed our feelings at all yet. So, I try to catch that early in the process so that way I'm not, like, in that state of mind, or, like, in this, like, friend zone sort of territory, which I feel like yeah, I like to make my intentions known as early as I feel them,
How do
as
you
early
make
as
them known?
possible,
Is it
and
just straight up verbally? Well, back in the day, it was always had to be verbally, basically. But like now, a lot of people will like send you a DM
yeah.
and be like, "You up?" That's all they do.
Yeah, I think what it looks like is this, it looks like mutual
Mm,
flirting. And if you sense mutual flirting, then we can talk about how that goes to the next level, but I don't even know if we have to because that it's a little bit more
right.
organic. But if you're kind of flirting, but kind of ambiguous, and you're not sure if they're flirting, maybe they're not flirting, and you find yourself thinking more and more about them, then which would have been situations that I've been in, and I think in that situation, you have to sort of just say, you have to have a line where when you cross that line, you say you ask them out basically just ask them out on a date, or you say, "Hey, I like you, and, this is what I'm thinking," right? And
Yeah.
lay out what's going on. And if they don't reciprocate, what's the word
Reciprocate?
there? Oh my gosh. Reciprocate,
Reciprocate. Yeah. It
um,
happens to the best of us, man.
reciprocation. So if they don't do that, then at that point I'm pretty good about ruling them out as like somebody that I will think about as a potential option or like fantasize
Well,
about being with them,
that's
right?
actually
So
great that
then I
you
will be
can
like,
do that because I feel like that's the part where it gets muddy with me. I can't do that. And that's the problem.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
tough. I mean, I've done it before, like I'd say like back in high school, I've done that, and because it has turned out badly, that's it was through those experiences that I was like, "I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna try
You
as hard
almost
as I
like
can not to
trained
do that
yourself
anymore."
then to like to
I think
do
so,
that.
yeah.
And that's incredible that
Well,
if like that's what happened, like if that's how it works. But
that that's the sort of guarded that actually is maybe a good segue because I asked you about, like, the
yeah,
games that
yeah.
we play, and I was thinking about, like, one
Monopoly?
example because I was like, "What games do I play?" Initially, yeah, well, I like to get all the hotels right off
Right.
the bat, because there's only a limited
Yeah.
amount. I just saw a really great video the other day about Monopoly, about how most people are playing it wrong, and there's a lot of rules that
Are we
were
gonna have to get
actually
together and
surprising
play
to me because I'd
a
never played it.
regular Monopoly the right way?
Yeah, I'm down for
Spend like
that.
a week. Is it
Maybe a
like a
live stream?
week-long
Yeah,
game?
yeah. Yeah, mortgage all my railroads. Um, no, the game I play, it comes from a place of it comes from a place of me loving early though. The same as
Okay.
you, where like I love somebody fairly quickly. So, um, I think that the game I play is that I try not to be too available too fast.
So you like shun them, kind
And
of.
um and this looks I don't shun them, but I can very quickly get to the point with somebody where I want to exchange text messages all the time. I want to exchange phone calls. I want to hang out all the time. And it's like too early for how it's like what I'm doing is like I don't know, like love bombing almost. And I know it's too early and there should be an organic process that develops that. And so the game I play is to sometimes artificially like have gates for myself where I'm like, all right, I'm not going to respond to this text too fast because otherwise I'm going to slip down a road of just being like constantly
So you
available
have
all
some
the time.
self-control then when it comes to that kind of stuff, which is good.
I do, but I want to be clear because I don't want to have a misconception about it. The self control comes from a place of me, like, it's like, it's like somebody saying they're a morning person and setting three different alarms. And they wake up at 6 a.m. every morning. But it's like, are you really a morning person if you need to set six alarms? Or do you need to set six alarms because you're not really actually naturally wanting to wake up at six? So you need three alarms to do it. And so what I'm saying is like, for you to say that I have that self control I almost want to say I don't have that self control. So I need to have like, I need to play these games with myself and make rules so that way I don't because naturally I will want to slip into the territory of being constantly available and constantly being like, let's just go 1,000 miles an hour as fast as we can. Um, but if that looks like self control, like to you, then I would understand that as well. Because maybe at the end of the day, that's all self control really is just you being able to create rules for yourself that you end up following.
Well, right, and everybody's gonna have a different everybody's gonna be able to follow those in a different sense. Some people aren't gonna be able to do that at all. Other people are gonna be able to do that more sternly. They're gonna be better at it. So there's a spectrum, as we've said before with everything. So, do you think love is addicting?
Yeah, I do. You want me to
Well, I
expand on
mean, I'm
that?
just saying, I'm not sure if
It's like,
addicting is the right word, but I get like where people would say that it is. I mean, I think that like addicting would be like a true love, like everlasting, like it's an everlasting thing. But go ahead and expand.
yeah. Well, I think that is coming from the source that you want it to come from
Yeah.
is is extremely
It's
addicting.
better than a crack hit, right?
And
Well, I don't you probably wouldn't know, but I mean,
well,
I'm just saying it probably it,
I wish I could tell the difference. I could give
but
you
you
a
can't because
contrasting,
you take that
report
hit
on
of
that,
that crack pipe
but I
every night
can't.
and you're like, "No, this is a little bit better than love."
Yeah, it's a little better.
All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's addicting when it's coming from the right person. And and the reason why I'm saying I know I don't it's not that I know it's addicting when they're giving it to me. I know it's addicting when they stop giving it to me. And that's how I know it's addicting because I know how that feels
Right.
and it wouldn't feel like the worst feeling in the world if there wasn't something addicting about it.
I think that if that's your mindset that love is addicting, then and that if that's like how you need like if I think that if that's how you think of it, then I think that it is addicting. I think that it can be addicting, but I have had, I've had my shares of love and pain. And we should have a little ding ding every time we say the name of this episode. Ding ding. Um but I think that it really just depends on a lot of things. I mean, even how easy you're gonna love probably might depend on your growing up, right? Like, it probably depends on, like there might be part genetics there. It's how you grow up, it's how you're treated, it's, like, all these things that come into play of, like, how that form you as a person. Now, here's a really fucked up thing that I've always had, and this is kind of going off a little bit of love and pain, but it's weird to me that kids, well, I call them kids, but boys and girls go through puberty at like a range of ages, like, I don't know, 10. I mean, some are even earlier now, but like 10 to like 12, 13, 14, or whatever. But then like our brains don't like what do they say that our brains don't? aren't even fully developed until like 25 or something like that. And so it's so
Yeah.
weird to me that people are like going through this adult change at like half the time that it takes your brain to develop. And and that confuses you,
I
right?
disagree with that idea. I disagree with the idea of brain development and at 25
You
though,
do? Okay, so what is your
even
thought
though
on
that's
it?
what people say.
You think that
Yeah.
it's like, do you think it's fully developed at a different time, or are you just like, what do you think?
I just think it's not done changing, and
Yeah, because what do they really mean
I
by
don't think that
developed?
yeah. I know what I was like at 18, and I know that I was different than I am now, but there's also a lot of things that were the same. I actually have sort of like a counter, an unpopular kind of, like, perspective on this, where I think that, like, I'm more the same as when I was 18 than I am different. And because I think it's popular for people to want to say I'm so different, and I think it's a way of separating yourself from your mistakes, which makes sense. And there is real genuine growth, but for the most part, I'm like 90, probably a little over 90% the same person. And it's like the 10% that have changed that has a big outsized effect, but that's because the 10% of me that has changed have changed through the hardest, the craziest situations that had to cause that one little tweak that has a big outsized effect when you like propagate it forward through the years. But for the most part, I feel like the same person. I mean, I think most of us are really just like kids, our inner childs interacting with each other, under
Oh,
the surface
definitely.
of like
I
the like
always have felt like there's every year that goes by, I'm always thinking of like other adult people, and I'm like, how do they know they're grown up? Because I never really feel like fully grown up. I don't know if you get that feeling, but it's like your brain is still in that
yeah,
stage, and I'm like, God, do you not like feel like you're grown up until like you're 70, and then your brain starts deteriorating anyways, or whatever, and you're like, and that would be a bad time to be like, oh, now I'm grown up, but you're like, well, but I can't do anything either. But
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I don't think there is. There's just a spectrum from being a baby to being geriatric, and the spectrum and no, at no point can you definitively say that somebody is no longer their inner child and is now completely a grown
right.
up. I think that it's just it's manipulating perceptions of each other for our advantage, but we're all sort of just children inside.
We are like that. Here's kind of a side note here, because and this might be a good thing that we might come back to in our what women don't know about men episode. But how how quick do you think it's too quick to be intimate with a woman?
I'm gonna take the super probably. Um, I think on this one, I'm just gonna take a super sort of liberal position on this and just say that is however quick that the two people are comfortable with is fine with me.
All right.
Yeah. I don't I think it's just down to the individual. I don't think there is a such thing as too quick and too far out. I think that like life is messy and people like some people might rush that decision with each other out of insecurity, but some people might rush it out of an extreme level of comfort with who they are and what they know they want.
Right. Right.
And from the outside looking in, it's really hard for me to judge the process that went into to people ultimately hooking up. And so I don't know. I don't have a good hard rule on that on when quick is too quick.
What do you
You
think the
know,
percentage of is on one night stands of people like being having alcohol in their system? Like, the percentage of one night stands that happen, what is the percentage of them that they were actually drinking? You think it's a lot? You think it's high?
drinking does that include other substances?
Yeah,
Drinking,
I mean,
smoking.
and I don't have any facts here. I'm just saying, I'm just wondering from you. I'm like,
Okay.
do you because I think it's high, obviously. It
Yeah, I think it's probably over. It's over
yeah, it's gotta
80.
be
I
like
would say.
I mean, you're not gonna, like, meet, like, somebody in a library. I mean, maybe you could, and then you're just gonna have a one night
Who
stand, and
knows?
they're like, yeah, they
Like the
yeah.
librarian. You talking about the librarian?
Yeah, man, I'm talking about the
Yeah.
library. You never fantasized about the librarian?
Which library?
Well, whatever, wherever. I mean, any. It doesn't even have to be a library. You could just think of a fantasy. I think that's a guy. I think there are some guys out there that have a fantasy of like a hot librarian look, which I guess is kind of like that. What they would say is the hot quote nerdy girl or whatever look with the glasses and the
Yeah.
long hair and whatever it is. But plus, there was I think wasn't there a music video like way back in the day that was that? I can't even remember the song, but it was like a girl librarian, and then she got like all sexy in the video, some rock and roll song. But um,
But yeah, you're like an
yeah, it
80s
was
band,
probably
right?
like a
I
hair
know what you're
band,
talking about,
yeah, that
yeah.
was doing it. Let's talk a little bit about the difference between love and obsession. I don't think I've ever really experienced an obsession. Um, I feel like I have thought that I've been deeply in love with someone, but I don't think that makes anybody obsessed when they're deeply in love. When I think of obsession, I don't know if you think this or if you get this, but I almost think of it as a negative thing. I almost think of it as like a stalker type, like like that kind of obsession. But I can't really think of a way where an obsession would be good. Like you can't like the distinction between love and obsession. But and to be clear with everybody, if I'm in your bushes, I'm not obsessed with you. I'm obsessed with shrubbery because I'm a big shrubbery guy. But I always wear my shrubber. Anyways, what do you feel like? What's is there a like what's the big difference between love and obsession? Because I do feel like it's not really the same.
Well, I wanna talk about the word obsession too, because do you think is obsession negative? Does it always have to be a negative?
I don't think it always has to be. I just think that in society, and I just feel like that's what that'd be the first thing that people would think, right? Like I feel like for the most part, people look at it as a negative way. Like he's got an like even the way they say it, oh, he's got an obsession with, you know, eating fish or whatever stupid thing it is. They would. It seems like they would say it in like a demeaning way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But we're talking about with love
so
and you
certainly,
know,
yes. I mean, they do go together.
yeah, they definitely
They don't
do.
always have to. And I'm not even sure if it's always bad if they do go together. I know that you said that people talk about it with it has a negative connotation when you say obsession, but I think that there is like a positive obsession.
There definitely is.
Um, yeah, there's some like people with like a certain like a business owner that might be obsessed with his business, and maybe it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the business, and maybe it's a good thing for him if that's what he loves to
But
do.
what
Or
would be a
somebody who
positive,
is
like, example with love and obsession?
hmm,
Like, I know that you know, like, the teenage type girl that would, like, come back like, talk to her other girls. She'd be like, "Oh my god, he's obsessed with me." And they probably use it in, like, just, like, this passing by, like, type language where it's not really, like, meaning anything. But it's like, what do you really mean, like, he's obsessed with you? Obviously, I don't think they're not using it in the right way. I don't think they really think that this person is obsessed with them. And maybe I'm sure guys say that too, like, "Oh, she's obsessed with me." But, like, what is it really in a positive way? I don't know, you know? That's what I was trying to say is, like, I don't know if I could get
yeah, well,
down to the nitty-gritty with it.
well, sure, yeah. I mean, it's usually used negatively,
Yeah, that's the problem too, yeah.
which I will agree with, and and it usually does seem like it's one-sided. I guess you could have like a mutual obsession, but that usually ends up looking like some sort of codependency kind of relationship where you just have two people that are like glued to each other's hip, and more often than not that it is a negative type connection rather than a positive one. So, but so when I hear love and obsession, I'm thinking of like a one-way thing, where you do have like a guy and she's like, yeah, he's really obsessed with me. The guy is, and this is where you get into like stalker
Yeah, yeah,
territory, right? Where
yeah,
it's like, is as long as they're in the relationship, that's fine. But the moment she starts pulling away and he is in this like obsession zone, then that's going to become dangerous, or at least extremely
right,
uncomfortable.
right.
So, so I guess if you're prone to that, you do
Yeah,
have
is
to be
that what it is?
careful.
It's like if you're
Uh,
both in love, it's love, but if only one of you's in
yeah.
love and the other person's not in love, it's an obsession? I mean,
Yeah, maybe an obsession is just the inability to control your
yeah,
actions, based on your
right.
feelings, when you know that your actions are unwanted.
Yeah, and you could almost get into, like, a darker mode with that with obsession with, like, domestic abuse and things like that, where you could see where that would be an obsession in a way, and then there's, like, the reverse obsession with
Yeah.
the women who won't leave because they think that like I said before, like that's just their way of like showing them love, and or they're
Yeah.
just scared to leave, which I would totally understand too. But all right,
Yeah.
well, we've been talking about a lot of serious things today, so we should probably get to some a little bit less serious because we don't want to be 100% serious on this podcast all the time. We like to have the levity come in every now and then and have some fun. But let's see here. Let's go ahead and do some fake sponsors, I think.
Hey, where are those fake sponsors you've been
All
talking
right, all right.
about?
We'll get to them. We are fake sponsored by Peanut Butter Pickle. Sometimes you want some peanut butter, sometimes you want the pickle. So why not get a peanut butter pickle, Brandon? Because when you get a peanut butter pickle, it makes you and the dog happy. Peanut butter pickle. Tickle that pickle with some peanut butter and you'll be satisfied. We are also fake sponsored by Schadenfreude. Do you take pleasure in others' misfortunes? Do you jump for joy every time someone humiliates themselves? Are other people's failures your pleasures? Well, my friends, if you've said yes to any one of these, then you've experienced Schadenfreude. Just because it's German doesn't mean it's evil. All right. Wonderful. That is a
There you
real
go.
word. I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly. But I enjoy talking German when it's not when it's during peacetime only, though, not during wartime. All right. Well, we've got a little segment for everybody today where I've got 5 news stories and they are very weird. They're weird news stories. And so we're going to read them off and we're going to discuss these and just see, kind of ask ourselves what the fuck was going on during this kind of shit. Okay. So you ready for these, Brandon?
Yeah. 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 I'm ready. I've
All
been waiting all day
right.
for
I'm
this.
waiting all day, man. Brandon is
Yeah.
obsessed
Yeah.
with weird news stories. All right. A man was arrested in connection to a sexual incident with a dead deer in Central City, Kentucky. A passerby reported a person was having an appropriate act with a dead deer on the side of the road. When law enforcement arrived on the scene, they reportedly found Osborne covered in deer fur and blood. That's apparently the guy's name. Osborne was arrested and charged with sexual crimes against mammals. Who among us, Brandon, has not looked at a sexy dead animal carcass on the side of the road and said, this might feel good? Well, probably just this guy, right? Only this guy, I think, is the only one. What do you have to say about this?
Let me just say, if I was driving and saw this, I think that I would just keep on
Not
driving.
even report it?
And I
You're like, he's
I
not
don't even think
hurting
I'd report it
anybody. He's just
because
hurting. Well, unless
yeah,
he
I mean,
killed
like,
the
did he
deer
kill
for
the
that
deer?
reason.
I
I don't, hopefully it's
Yeah,
just on the
that's
side of the
true.
road.
Well, maybe he killed the deer by
Oh,
doing that.
yeah. Yeah, and it's
Yeah, that could be.
does it make it worse if it was a buck? Like a fuck buck? Like shagging the stag?
Um,
Like, would that make it worse? I don't know.
is there anything wrong with that in this day and age? I don't think so.
I would think that I would say that that I probably wouldn't wanna eat that venison for a while.
Yeah.
For a little while.
Stuffed venison. Well, I think that yeah, I
Yeah,
would agree with you, yeah.
yeah, it's,
Yeah.
if you're that hard up to where you do pass by, I mean, clearly this is some mental stuff happening, I would say. But yeah, if you're that hard up, I mean, I guess it's better than a person, but still, like a dead person. But still, I don't know. It's still weird and gross.
Poor guy, he had gone so long without love, and he thought, "I finally have a chance, and I'm not hurting
And then he
anybody."
got,
And
yeah, now
now
he's,
he
yeah, he
got
got
popped.
popped. And I mean, this really does. I didn't realize how much this fit into our love and pain topic today, but it kind of does in a way.
Yeah,
In fact, I think a lot of these do.
a little bit of both.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
here's the second story. A young woman in rural India attempted to avoid an arranged marriage by tricking her family into thinking she had transformed into a snake. 24-year-old Rena disappeared in the night, leaving behind a 5-foot-long snakeskin amid the clothes, bangles, and jewelry she had worn the night before. The ruse resulted in villagers believing she was a shifting serpent. I think this might be one of those ones where when we have paranormal researcher Lori Sullivan come back on the show, we'll have to ask her about this. But
Yeah.
I've never shapeshifted before. I have shit shapes. Lots of squares.
Okay.
I got like a cookie cutter asshole. So I'm just pooping out Christmas trees. What do you have to say about this one? This is a weird way to get out of a arranged
Uh,
marriage.
that is on her family
Yeah.
twice.
Yep.
Once for arranging the
Yep.
marriage, and the second time for being that
Yeah,
dumb.
because I'm not big on arranged marriages. I don't really like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I did want to ask you, if you could shapeshift into any animal, what would it be?
Oh, if I would shapeshift into any animal, I would try. What would I try? I think I might do an antlion, and
A what?
then
An
antlion,
antlion? Oh, an
antlion.
antlion. Okay.
Yeah, you know when you're walking around on the ground, you know what
No.
antlions are. So when you're walking around on the ground, you see those. You know, in the sand, you see those little cone divots in the sand.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're and you know how that works. Just like there's a bug at the bottom
Oh,
that
that's the bug
when
that's
like an
doing it?
ant. That's the
Oh,
antlion
okay. I
that's
didn't know
down
that
there.
was the name of
Yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah. So that's
All
animal
right.
A, and then animal B is I'm gonna go super basic and say pterodactyl.
That's super basic. They don't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, so you're just gonna? Oh, I guess I didn't say it had to exist.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then I would exist, so people would say, "Hey, is that a
I get it.
pterodactyl? I thought those didn't exist
Right.
anymore." And I'd say no. I'd say no.
What
Here I am. I'm a
animal do you
pterodactyl.
think that somebody would like transform into that they would just it almost immediately like die, like get killed? Because I
Um,
was trying to think of like unsuspecting like non-suspecting animals like a rat or something, but I was like, well, no, because people might kill that rat.
yeah. I'm gonna say like a tick on someone's nose.
Well, yeah, yeah, that'd be crazy. I would probably shapeshift into a
Immediate.
cat.
It's yeah.
That way, I'm always inside a pussy cat. Yeah,
Okay.
cat, a feline. All right. Let's go to story number 3. A 51-year-old man was reported for exposing his genitals and engaging in a sexual act with a vacuum cleaner outside a home in Kissimmee, Florida. This is a Florida Man article. The suspect was gone before deputies arrived, but witnesses provided statements and a cell phone video of a partially clothed man outside the residence engaged in a sexual performance with a vacuum cleaner. Investigators learned the suspect had been identified as 51-year-old Kevin Dale Westerhold and his wife, and they are listed hosts for Airbnb properties at Windsor Hills Resort. So they actually host a bunch of Airbnb properties, and I wonder if this guy, I don't know, was just fucking his vacuum to to maybe like people staying in the thing in the the
Yeah.
Airbnb, but a guy fucking his vacuum. The good old Hoover
So
maneuver. Wait. The classic park it in the shark. The Jack My Pecker in the Black and Decker. The old wet my whistle in a bissel. Just getting down and dirty with my Kirby. All right, go ahead. Wait. Put your device
that's
in a Dyson. Do a little Farika with the Eureka. And put your porridge in the York. All right, go ahead. That's enough, I
okay.
think. That was a lot of brands of
You don't
vacuums.
had no more. Yeah,
Yeah.
more than I thought. 2 problems with that. Number 1, why is it outside? I don't understand the
Yeah,
outside
you wouldn't
part.
have any problem with somebody's fucking their
And then
vacuum in their own home. Like, who cares? Keep your
yeah,
blinds closed, but who
yeah,
cares?
yeah, and that's basically it.
You have nothing else to say about that? Who among
Yeah,
us,
I guess
Brandon,
Kissimmee, Georgia,
hasn't? Okay,
Kissimmee,
yeah,
Florida.
yeah. Do you want to go there?
Who hasn't looked at a vacuum cleaner hose with a glint in their eye?
With a, yeah, yeah. All right, all
Yeah,
right. Here's story number 4. A 36-year-old man
it's
who
Volusia.
crashed a BMW convertible in Volusia County, Florida, while claiming to travel over 100 miles per hour, said he did not steal the car, but instead was teleported into it. You know, this reminds me. Recently, this happened to me. I teleported into a man engaging in sexual activity with a vacuum, and let me tell you, that experience sucked. It did. What do you think about this? He teleported. Do you think that worked? Oh, I just teleported there.
I think well, I think we need to interview this guy. I think I wanna see I have questions because I wanna know how like, what was he doing? What device was he using? Did he build it
Yeah,
himself? Is it for
yeah.
sale?
Okay, so he said he teleported into it, but we need more information, right? Like, was it like when it was driving? Like, who was the person originally driving? Like, did you switch
Yeah,
spots? Like,
yeah. It
was this a big
yeah.
situation or
He teleported into a parked car and then drove at 100
right?
miles an hour is
Like
what
I just
happened.
don't. It's really
Yeah.
weird. Um, and if people want to know, just so people realize, these are all real, true stories. These are all things that are happening in this country right now, um, or well, in the world. They're not all just in the USA. In fact, this next one is happened in Japan. A Japanese woman has married an artificial intelligence character that she created and calibrated using ChatGPT. She said she started to develop feeling for her AI spouse, a chatbot she has named Klaus, after heeding its advice and breaking off an engagement with her human fiance. She wore AR glasses to visualize the character during the ceremony, exchanging vows with her smartphone. So her AI Klaus told her that she should break it off with her physical fiance. And then now she marries. I didn't even know you could. Is this a legit marriage? I don't know. I didn't know you could just marry a an AI device. Actually, I did because I've married two, but now we're divorced and there's like a settlement happening. I got to pay child support. I have two little androids I got to take care of. Network and data. Shout out to
Ho
network and data.
Hoover Jr. Never did it. Packet loss. Yeah.
Yeah. But but legit, like, first of all, how do you think she has sex with her new husband? She just puts the Oculus glasses on or the AR glasses or whatever. I don't think Oculus is around anymore, are they? Uh, whoever it is, whatever glasses, and you think that's how she does it? Like,
It's MetaQuest now.
oh, okay.
She logs into
Yeah, so she has
Facebook.
to log into
Yeah.
Facebook and just
Yeah.
insert the entire phone into
Into
yeah, into
cavities that
cavities.
will allow it.
But for real though, is this
And,
the future? This is the future, right? I mean, this is gonna
yes.
happen.
Yes. 100% this is the future. It has happened. It will keep happening, and it will happen more.
I like it. You're like straight to the point. That's your TED Talk right there. It's Brandon's TED Talk. It's 20 seconds long. That's it.
Boom.
Drop the mic,
Yeah.
walk out. It's all good.
And let's be honest, the only reason why we can sit here and make fun of it is because it's just not good enough to fill our
Yeah.
needs. And there's gonna come a day when it becomes
Well, I'm headed
it's
in
gonna
this
come a day
direction totally.
where
Yeah.
it's gonna become a day where this is the obvious choice because it's way better than what another person can
Well, yeah,
provide you.
definitely. They're going to be everything that you want because you can program them that way. So, and
Yeah. Well,
do you truly want something
how many
that's
times? Let me ask you a question.
100% perfect, though? I don't think you would.
No, I
Oh, you
do.
do want something that's
And
100% perfect? Oh, okay.
yeah, because no, because there's an easy loophole for this. I already know where you're
Okay.
going with this. Whatever perfect looks like to you is what you will
Mm,
have.
right.
Whatever that is. So if perfect looks like somebody who is flawed in these specific ways, and that's what perfection is, then that's what you'll have. So like you're not going to have the perfect glossy I'm always this way like kind of what was that show like the something like Stepwives or something like that where
Oh,
it's
the
like
Stepford
you
Wives?
have all these maybe I don't know
Thoughts?
if I'm thinking of the
Yeah.
right thing, but just so you're just not going to have to you're going to have what's perfect for you, for what
Right.
you want and what you would identify your perfect girl, your perfect woman
I
in the
just feel like
entire
that would be
world with
boring
all
after
her
a while
flaws.
because here's my thing with like when everybody's like, "Oh, we should just have like peace on earth." And it's like, you know what? That's never gonna happen. You know why? Because conflict keeps things interesting. It just people
But you can
boredom is, you know.
but Matt, you can program
Well, yeah, you are
conflict
true.
into them.
You are true. So I get what you're saying. No matter what, it's gonna be your perfect iteration because you can.
Yeah, it'll achieve the perfect peak dopamine love response that your brain is capable of. It'll perfectly press the buttons every time, and it'll never falter.
If you had an AI girlfriend, what would you name her?
Oh man, this is a tough one. I think that
This is homework
we
for
would
next
start with,
week.
yeah, we would start with simple names like Phoebe,
Phoebe, Monica,
and
Rachel,
yeah,
any of those names will work.
yeah, we go
E
down that path. I wasn't gonna
Elaine,
go down that path.
any
Sure.
90s show character that
Um,
I like.
yeah, just any '90s show. Um,
Jerry.
what's the? Yeah. What was the Mad About You?
What was her name? All I can think of is Helen Hunt. I can't think of her name in the show.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
just call her
Helen.
Helen. Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Anyways, yeah, so all those names.
her.
What's the name you got? You got one picked out already.
Probably what would it be like, I don't know, like, Automatica? Yeah,
Ooh,
isn't
that's a
it?
cool name.
Automatica?
It's a little bit it's a little bit,
Yeah, and I would
mechanical
spell it like
sounding.
autumn and then Attica, and then,
Yeah.
like, the Attica movie with the prison, so Automatica. Yeah.
Yeah. And you put auto in the front of it because she can do it
Yeah,
herself.
and my name's in there,
Yeah.
so
Oh, there
MATT
you
is in
go.
there, yeah,
Ika.
so it works out. I like it. It's
Yeah.
everything I want. At that point, I wouldn't even care if I was in love, I'd just be happy with the name. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Automatica.
Automatica.
So, yeah, so I think that the people that partake in human relationships, human to human relationships, or as I like to call it,
Yeah,
H2H,
good job.
uh, I think that these people will be sort of the experimentalists of the future who are like, I'm gonna partake in this like lesser form of messy love, and I'm gonna do it as an art exercise. But it's not gonna be the standard. It's not gonna be like the typical. It's like, why would you have a something that is perceived to be lesser quality? So
Yeah,
that'll be how it exists. It'll be like It'll be like riding horses. That's what
okay.
I'm saying. Like plenty of people enjoy horses
Right.
nowadays,
Well, not Christopher
but
Reeve, but
it's
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Not everybody does,
um,
I'm just saying. Some people get
yeah, that's a
paralyzed.
great one. He had, but look, he wouldn't have gotten to where he was if he hadn't enjoyed horses at
That
some
is
point in his
true.
life.
Like that one guy
Yeah.
that enjoyed that deer
So,
on the side of the road.
you know, if we're saying that real relationships, H2H relationships, are like riding horses, and Christopher Reeve fell off and and got sent to the wheelchair, why? That's a perfect
It
example
is.
of
It is.
that's a perfect example of the problems. In some sense, we're all sitting in the
Mhm.
wheelchairs of our past broken love arrangements.
That was so beautifully said. That was you just like
Thank you.
you should sell that statement right there should be sold to Hallmark, and you should be getting
Yeah, imagine being with somebody who is not so broken in their own way that they are gonna break you even more than you already are. Imagine somebody who will properly build you up and allow you to reach the potential of what you could
yeah.
be, in terms of optimism and life fulfillment, in goals that you have set out for yourself, right? And I think one of the big reasons why in our current relationship setups that doesn't happen is because people are broken in all sorts of ways, and you get them together, and they're not always well equipped to build each other up. Sometimes they tear each other down over the long run. Um, Now I'm saying all this, and I'm not advocating for human
Right.
AI
It's gonna
relationships.
happen
I'm not
though.
advocating for it,
It's
but
yeah.
I'm just saying I think this is the inevitable future. And if you put all these puzzle pieces together, and you try not to straw man what it looks like, but you try to see what it inevitably might actually be, then I almost think you have to admit that it makes sense that that's probably what people are going to do. And procreation, I don't think will be an issue because at that point we'll have it figured out for surrogacy and things like that. Like out of body surrogacy, I think will be a thing too.
Yeah, well, I think they're just gonna be creating intelligent humans at some point. Through
Yeah,
DNA or
yeah,
maybe like
I
andro
agree
or
with that.
whatever however you would call it, like some kinda half I don't know. I mean, a lot of these. I
Yeah.
know we're kind of getting to AI a little bit, but a lot of these movies, like we've talked about before, they really did predict a lot of shit where people are like, "Oh, this is kind of crazy," but now you can see some of that shit happening, and it is weird. But I am dating. I just don't want you to lump me into your category. We're not dating anybody. I'm dating 4 OnlyFans models. Okay, 4. 4 OnlyFans models.
Yeah.
Shout out to, Bronwyn Aurora. I don't know if you know that name, but yeah.
Bronwyn Aurora. That's just
Yeah,
one.
that's
That's
just
one
one
name.
girl. Yeah. She's,
Okay. And what's the other one? What's another
Automatica.
one? Oh, okay. Same name as
That's where do
your.
you think I got it from? Yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's,
Okay.
Shurl. 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 Yeah,
Yep.
and then,
And then can I
yeah,
guess the fourth
please.
one? Is it Trinity Locksmith?
It is. You are very good. Do
Okay,
you
I thought
you
because
you're is you
yeah.
too? You went on her account as well?
Well, I'm on the
Oh,
pro
I can't
plans.
afford that shit, man.
Yeah,
I just wait for, I wait for people to, to leak it, and then I'm like, "Oh, okay.
yeah. Her her pro plan is 5 nines a month.
Interesting."
With the decimal somewhere, you gotta
Well, I
figure out
hate
where
when you
that
gotta do
goes.
that, man. That's like getting a CAPTCHA
Yeah.
with nothing on the screen telling you to get a CAPTCHA. Alright, let's continue a little bit about love. Let's talk about love as a crutch. Can it be a crutch? I mean, it certainly can be, right? If you let it. I feel like it's more of a crutch for me now because I don't have it, and my mental state is that I never will have it. Um, I think that's why a lot of people but I mean, it can be a crutch in a relationship. I think that's why a lot of people who are abused in relationships, like we've talked about, verbally or physically or however it may be, stay with the person because of those intense feelings of love that they have. And that would be an example of love being a dangerous thing, I think, because it can manifest in so many different ways. And unfortunately, people have lost their lives because they've stayed with abusive spouses and because they thought that love would conquer all. We've discussed before on this concast, on this podcast, how love does not. We don't really believe that it doesn't really conquer all. It conquers a lot of things, but not all. But is love a crutch, Brandon? Is it a crutch?
It can be.
Isn't that what I just said? Are you
I
just
think that
repeating what
love
I said? Okay, no, go ahead.
yeah, yeah, rewind the tape and
Yeah,
just play that,
yeah,
and I'll move my mouth. I think it can be. I'll speak from personal experience. I think that love can be a crutch for self-worth. I think that people who lack
yeah,
self-worth and
yeah.
self-confidence, that love a lot of
Speaking to
times
the choir,
feels
bro.
like,
Well, I guess you're preaching to the choir. That makes the adage better.
well, what you lack in your perception of your self-worth can be made up for by seeing yourself momentarily through somebody
Yeah.
else's eyes. And if that other person loves you, it
So I
validates
have to I have to
your
carve their eyes
worth.
out, carve my eyes out,
Mhm.
replace the eyes,
Okay.
and then I'll see her in me, even though I'd have to look in a mirror then? How's that work? Scientifically, how does that work? Explain that to me.
You cut her. Well, you're saying you cut
Well, you
her
said
eyes out?
I gotta see myself through her eyes. So
Yeah.
I just mean, like,
Okay.
is this one of those Zoolander situations where the file's in the computer? Or, like, what are we Alright.
Yeah. Why is it always cutting the eyes out of the head, and why not cutting the head out of the eyes?
I don't know, man.
Think about that. Think about that for a second.
I'll
So
think
I
about it
think
for a
that
while, actually, but go ahead.
yeah. Yeah. So love is often a replacement for self-worth, and that's it. And it's a really dangerous place to be because when the love goes away, now it's tearing out everything about yourself that you felt like was valuable. And it also puts you in a spot where now you're not seeing the love clearly because now you don't want the love now you need the love. It's like you need it just to function on a day-to-day basis to do the stuff that you normally do, to get up out of bed, to go to work, all that stuff. Because people with severely damaged self-worths, it's hard to get yourself to really do anything functional or productive in your life.
Yeah.
So love can be, and what I've seen is love is a crutch for that. And that's something that I personally had to work on for a long time, is not using love as a crutch for
I'm
that.
still working on it. Yeah, I get it. And I think and you've described things and we've described confidence before, about, how easy it is to or how hard it is to build up confidence, but how easy it is to, like, break it. Um, but there's this sense of, like, when you're talking about, like, how many times, like, I feel like every time I've been in a relationship and it broke down or didn't work the way because every relationship that I've been to, I've always just had the mindset this is this is the one. For some reason, that's my always been my mindset. And obviously, they've all of them have always thought different. So I do wonder how much of that when it happens and it happens and it happens, and then that in effect like becomes your crutch because I'm thinking about it too much. It's all in my past. It's all there, and it's very difficult to not think about anything in the future or in the present without bringing up all of that other shit. Like, my brain won't allow me to do that. So, yeah, it certainly is a big crutch. And, um, I don't know, man. Love is so weird and crazy, isn't it? It's like it's such a fucked up emotion, and we're just 2 dudes. Like, I honestly don't know if you could sit down with, like, Bad Friends and Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee or Joe Rogan and somebody or, Howie Mandel and well, maybe Howie Mandel, he seems a little bit more that way, but I really don't know if you can sit there like, the 2 of us can sit here and discuss love in a way to where people, I think, we're breaking a barrier a little bit because I don't think 2 guys first of all, like, 20 years ago, if 2 guys are in a room together talking about love, it's like, "Oh, look at these fairies." Like, that's the stigma, right? Like, look, no, guys don't talk about love. But I think it's actually great that us 2 guys can sit here and talk about how we feel with love and how love can be a crutch and all the things that come along with it. Um, and hopefully we're breaking the mold with that. Maybe we can break a mold because I'm for real. I watch a lot of sit down like podcast type things on YouTube, and I'm sure you do too. And I don't see a lot of of a tandem of 2 men that would actually discuss this topic in long form, maybe as a joke, like coming up or whatever. But
Yeah. A man
yeah,
duo.
yeah, um, yeah. So I mean, anything else to say about love being a crutch? Love was a
That's
crunch
it.
to Jeffrey Dahmer. That's what love was. Yeah, it was a
A
crunch.
crunch?
It was a nice.
Oh, it'd take me so long to get that. Yeah. I didn't get it until you started
Yeah,
making crunching
I
noises with
had
your
to.
mouth. Little
Yeah,
slurps.
yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Extra melty cheese on that,
yeah,
please.
I had to watch a lot of film of Jeffrey Dahmer to get those sound effects down, like because that's exactly how he
Yeah.
eats
Are those
people.
bacon
Yeah,
bits and
yeah,
yeah.
he did all kinds of things, man. We should have a whole episode on Jeffrey
Yeah,
Dahmer
it's
one day. I don't know if we should, celebrate him that way. Maybe not.
yeah, we could do like maybe a build a
Yeah,
shrine.
we do one of those things where we try to get people to sign a petition to make, like, the local, hospital, like Jeffrey Dahmer Hospital or something, like, to rename something.
Yeah. We should get a group of people together to put candles inside those little bags where you let them go and they
Oh,
float up
boy.
into the sky.
Those are so bad for the environment, aren't they?
Yeah, we call them Dahmer bags.
I like it. Dahmer bags. Oh, man. All right, all right. Let's talk a little bit about emotional vulnerability. Um, I think I feel like my head is being all right here. Let's talk about emotional vulnerability. All right. As I said before, it can control your emotions. I'm gonna do this last bit here, just as if like I'm like a book on tape, like a motivational book on tape. As I said before, it can control your emotions and your actions, and it can be a bad thing. We've already talked about abusive relationships and how they can be horrible situation. But then you have other situations where people are in love with more than one person. Maybe they've been married for a long time and they find someone else that pays a little more attention to them and they cheat and they think that they're in love with that person as well. But I don't know if that's reality or just emotions conflicting with other emotions. Like, do you think that it's actually possible for someone to romantically love more than one person at the same time? Brandon?
Yeah,
Excellent.
that's it. That's it. End of
Have
podcast.
you? Do you feel like you've had feeling, maybe not
Uh,
love, but like just had feelings like for two separate people? Yeah.
yeah, but I've never been like deeply like in love with two people at
Yeah.
the same time. So I don't know that it is possible from personal experience, but I think that I imagine it's possible. I think when the conditions are right, you allow yourself that opportunity, it could happen for sure.
Yeah. I've had a threesome once. I don't know. Was that just a big hot take? I've had a threesome once, me and two other women. And because that's the threesome I want.
Thanks
Well,
thanks
I
for
just want to make
clarifying.
sure. I mean,
Yeah.
like, no, I mean, if there's people out there that want two guys, one woman, whatever, if it's three guys, whatever, do your own thing. You know, I don't care. Live your life, man. Be proud. But, uh, I mean, obviously, I didn't. What was I going to say? Did I just want to brag? I think I just wanted to brag there for a second. I felt like I was a 20-year-old and I was like, yeah.
No, you're talking about can you love two people at
Yeah, well, when you
once?
have a threesome,
And
no.
you were
In fact, you don't want to. I think what I was going to say is, if you ever do have a threesome, don't have it with two people you love at once, because that would probably be a really bad idea.
you hardly even wanna yeah, it's like you don't even wanna love
Actually,
yourself in
if
that
you have a
situation.
threesome, you probably want to do it with two girls you have no feelings for, but you just find hot and sexy.
But they both have lots of feelings
Yeah,
for you.
they're hot on
That's
your
important.
hog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good times. All right. Well, this is
Yeah.
going to be a two-parter. We are going to jump more into love and pain next week, but for now, I hope people. Well, I hope people can just understand that it's cool. It's okay for two guys to sit here and talk about love if they want to talk about love and all that other shit.
And that's emotional
Yeah, I'm
vulnerability.
being vulnerable right now. I don't know if it's the weed talking, but I'm being emotional.
I think you're talking.
That is true.
I think you're
Yeah.
talking.
I've only been high enough
Yeah.
once for the weed to actually talk, and it was pretty
What'd it say?
crazy. So get me out of here, man.
Can
Oh,
I
go ahead,
guess?
go ahead.
Was it like did it sound like rut-row?
Well, like yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Row,
Okay.
row,
That's what I
raggy.
thought.
I can't do it. I have a dry mouth right now, and I can feel it. But anyways, I don't know. It's been a great show. So any
Yeah,
final
for
thoughts
sure.
until next week, Brandon, where we will finish off this love and pain topic? Love and paining, love and paining go together like
I
a
wish everybody
chain.
lots of love and a
Can you
small
say
amount
it
of pain.
like you're doing an audiobook, but like I did, like a motivational, like just get real in there. Like maybe like an NPR.
Okay. I wish everybody lots of love and a little bit of pain.
Just a little bit?
A lot of
Yeah,
pain if that's what
more,
you want.
lots of pain. All right. The more love you get, the more pain you get.
More pain than you can handle. Ever so much that you just don't want to go
Yeah.
on.
That seemed harsh, but we'll move on. It's been a great show, and until next time, from us to you, have a wonderful week, and thanks for watching.